Hey y'all, I figured this would probably be like the better time than ever to actually sit down and finally make this video and start this weekend off. Even though it is Thursday, August 6th, I think it's the 6th today. My weekend starts today. There's a lot going on this weekend, and I figured this would be an appropriate time to start. Mostly just because this is the first time I've been able to sit down and catch my breath, and it's not gonna stop for the next 3 days. So basically, I wanted to vlog this because I wasn't really able to vlog the death race experience because of health reasons. I didn't end up going to do the death race, which I've talked about in videos since then, and that was kind of, this year has not gone to plan whatsoever. It's gone way off the freaking radar. It's been kind of a disaster, to be completely honest. It has not gone to plan whatsoever, which is fine. Things happen, life happens, life is unpredictable, and you kind of roll with the punches. So basically what's going on this weekend is the one thing I planned for at the beginning of the year. The only real races that Spartan races that I had planned for this year was the Spartan Trifecta weekend. My whole goal this year was to do a trifecta in one weekend, which is funny because there's two sides to this. I look at it in the perspective of the two sides, where I'm pretty active in the community as far as I follow all the social media profiles on Instagram. I go to the races, I try and stay in touch with people, so I keep pretty up to date with a lot of the stuff that goes on in this community, I guess, or at least I try to. And it's funny because a majority of people, if you're part of the community, you see the people that do trifecta weekends every single weekend, so it's not a big deal for a lot of people. Some people are like, oh yeah, what's the big deal? And then there's the average day person and everybody else that has no concept of this world of racing, of obstacle course racing, and they're just you're fucking insane to do this in one weekend. But basically, this weekend, I planned to do my trifecta in one weekend. Tomorrow, Friday, is the starting kind of to all of this weekend. My Spartan Sprint is on tomorrow. It starts at 3:45, I believe, and then the Spartan Super is on Saturday. It starts around, I think, 9:45 or 9:30, and then the Spartan Beast is on Sunday, which will be at 10 o'clock in the morning. So it is not in Toronto. It is outside of Toronto. It's about an hour and a half away from Toronto. So these races, this whole weekend kind of snuck up on me. I've been planning. I kind of loosely was planning for it, everybody kept telling me not to worry about it because you got time, until I ran out of time. Luckily, I ended up finding a place to stay up in Wasaga, so I'm going to be staying in the Wasaga area just because I kept trying to get everybody's opinion on whether I should stay in Toronto, just stay home and then drive up every single day, but that would be 3 hours of driving every single day, which I didn't think I could not do, but I figured it would make it a lot more painful and would just make the process of just trying to, recover a lot harder. So I found a fairly, I guess, kind of inexpensive place. It was a lot more expensive than the first place I was looking at, but that place got booked, annoyingly enough. So I did find a place in Wasaga, and I'll be staying there from Friday, so from tomorrow. Maybe I should hold this instead. Yeah, the lighting's better this way. So I'll be staying there from tomorrow to Sunday morning. Basically, when I go Sunday morning to my race, I won't be going back to the little cottage that I rented out. But I will be driving up there tomorrow afternoon. Luckily, I have time tomorrow too, because basically tonight I have to go grocery shopping in the next hour. I really want to shower before I go out in public again because I'm just gross from work. But I gotta pack basically all my supplies, living supplies. Then I have to pack my groceries. Well, I'll probably be able to do that tomorrow. Then I have to pack all my gear and then my clothing. I have so much to do, and luckily I make the one thing that helps me with my anxiety and my stress of going through all these major experiences is making lists. So luckily I have lists of everything I need to pack so I don't forget anything. But I'm really excited for this weekend. I'm excited and nervous because in my eyes, as far as where my fitness level sits, so basically for any of you who don't know what I'm talking about or aren't interested in obstacle course racing, that's what Spartan races are, basically. They are obstacle course races. They have a certain distance that you gotta run, and generally they are in tougher environments. They are not city located runs. Generally they're held on mountains, in deserts, on ski resorts, basically generally harder environments to run in. And then they have obstacles along the course that you have to get through, and if you don't complete the obstacle, you do have to do 30 burpees. So that's, in my opinion, what makes these races a little bit tougher, is because the burpees definitely do add an element of difficulty to the whole race and to the whole course. But as far as where my fitness level stands this year, ironically, I was planning, the whole point of this year was to get in the best physical fit shape that I could get to for these races for this weekend, and none of that happened. Basically, from when I ran, I have been going to the gym on and off since June, but to be completely honest, I have not gone to the gym I haven't gone to the gym in a couple of weeks, to be completely honest. So as far as where my physical fitness sits right now, I am better where I was, I've lost some weight. Let me rephrase this, because my brain is fried already from the very long day that I had. I have lost weight since the hurricane heat in June, which for me, it's just more of it's less weight I have to carry for the distance that I'm gonna have to run this weekend. I do feel stronger, and I do feel better from where I was after the whole thing I had gone through, and being sick and just dealing with all the visits, the doctor visits and all of that, and just my body recuperating from all of that. I do feel a million times better than I did in June. But physically, am I where I would ideally like to be? No, obviously not. I think I'm my own harshest critic where it comes to my physical fitness, because it's not I don't want my body to look a certain way. It's more I've always been very attractive to the sense of being stronger and always wanting to be better than I was the day before. So it's really I want to be strong and physically capable of running long distances. So that's really my goal. It's not ever to achieve a certain look. That's just kind of the side effect of what comes of training a lot. So this whole situation this weekend really reminded me of recently what I came across a comedian a couple years ago named Bert Kreischer, and Bert I came across from listening to Joe Rogan's podcast over the last couple of years, and Bert is one of those guys that he is a hilarious comedian to me. I love his comedy, and then on top of that, He's got the mentality. He's recently done, in the last year, he's done a half marathon just because he wanted to, and he thought that he could do it with no training, and he did, and he managed to finish it, I think, in an hour and a half or 3 hours, something crazy for somebody who doesn't run at all, or doesn't run often, as far as those distances go. He is kind of where I am and where I've kind of started my journey a couple years ago with Spartan running, is that there's just at one point in my life I really just wanted to get physically better. I wanted to be stronger. I wanted to be healthier. Mentally, it helped me a lot going to the gym every single day, having something positive to do. That's what I really get from these races, and to see somebody else kind of go through that kind of experience where they really see the positive effects of just taking on this challenge and just taking it head on. Even though he didn't train, the fact that he did now, it kind of inspired him to do a triathlon, and I think he did minimal training for this triathlon. I wanted to do a triathlon last year, and I definitely, at some point in my lifetime, I would like to do an Ironman. I don't know, I haven't thought about my goals for next year yet, but that's just, I'm already thinking 20 steps ahead. But that mentality of just taking on a goal, picking a race and having that be a goal, and then doing all these other things kind of just falls into place. And I, like, recently over the last couple of months, a lot of people have been a lot of you have been commenting on either my Instagram or on here on my YouTube videos about, like, how you find it very fascinating, find these races very fascinating, and they are really fascinating. I find them really interesting because you see the variety of people show up to these races, and you'll get anybody from the age of 6 and I think a little bit younger to all the way up into people into their 80s, and that is incredible to me. And I want to be that person in, you know, the next 20 years, 30 years, 40, 50 years of my life. If I get to live that long, I want to be physically fit. I want to be physically capable. I think those are my biggest fears as far as it comes to, like, growing old. When I think about that, is like, I want to be physically capable of doing a lot of things. And I see my mom, and my mom's, you know, older, and she's in great shape for her age. Like, she is, like, nonstop on her feet, constantly running around, always, like, doing something. She's a really strong woman. So I am incredibly inspired by her and by other people to constantly want to be better than I was, you know, whatever, than the day before, or, you know, years prior, or whatever emotional and inspirational thing that floats your boat, insert quote here. But this weekend's definitely going to be a challenge like I've never had, because I have done no preparation for these races. I am basically waking up and going to the starting line, and I am not only doing one race, I am doing 3 races back to back. So I am a little bit nervous because I know, well, first of all, I know I'm going to get all 3 done. That's not even a question in my mind. I know I'm going to get them done, but I'm nervous about how long it's going to take me. That's the part that I always worry about, because it's not that I'm so stuck on getting a certain time anymore, especially this year. It's not about the time whatsoever, but it is something that, like, crosses my mind, and something that I do think about when it comes to these races is, like, how quickly am I going to be able to get them done with where I physically am right now. And my mom made a good point, even though it was kind of an asshole point. It was kind of a point where after every single race that I've ran, I've been pretty tired and my body has been pretty beaten up. So I'm going to have to take some serious care into my body after each of these races. Sunday, I can, like, kind of blow it all out because I'm going straight home afterwards. But before Sunday, like, tomorrow and then Saturday, I'm gonna have to really, you know, do some serious stretching. I'm gonna have to eat well. I'm going to have to get a lot of rest. I'm gonna have to really take care. And seriously, in these races, I've always hurt myself. I always get cuts and bruises, and I really, like, beat myself up doing these races, which, like, that's what I'm in it for, to be completely honest. Like, I love the war wounds. It's, like, half the fun. But I really am very conscious of the fact that I can't split my knee open again and have it get infected Friday or, you know, Saturday as well. Like, I need to be able to be very, like, conscious of what I'm doing out there, because I really don't want to hurt myself where I won't be able to do the next 2 races. Because I think if I do serious damage to myself and I'm not able to do the next 2, like, finish up the weekend, I'm gonna have a meltdown. But I want you all to understand that when I say really anybody can do these races, really anybody can. It really is a mental game. It's more a mental strength game than it is anything else. Because physically, you'll eventually get it done. You'll get through the burpees, you'll get through all the obstacles, you'll get through the distance, and you'll get to the finish line. But mentally, if you are tapping out every 5 minutes, it's just gonna prolong the pain. It's gonna prolong the experience. It's gonna prolong the distance you're gonna have to finish that much more, which really makes it for a very negative experience. I'm excited to be surrounded by really inspirational people, by people who are more physically fit than I am. I am super inspired by those people because it just fuels the fire and it lights the fire under my ass to like get my shit together and actually start working out more consistently, start eating better, stop drinking as much wine and beer as I have been the last couple of weeks, and really start refocusing on my health, because I really do want to be better prepared, possibly for November. There's an event in November that I really would like to go to, and just for next year, to start setting goals for next year. But if any of you are interested in checking out Bert Kreischer's, he's very well known for this one particular comedy, what's it called? I'm terrible. My brain is completely fried, so English is like kicking my ass right now. He's really known for this one bit, and I will leave a link to it in the description box down below. It's hilarious, and if you guys look into his Instagram, it's so fun. If you are ever looking to laugh at any point of the day, check out his Instagram, because you'll always find something that'll give you a laugh. But he's also, honestly, just one of those people. He recently had a podcast with Joe, and I'll see if I can find a link to it. I'll find the video of it on YouTube, and I'll leave a link of that as well in the description box if you guys want to check it out. And he spoke a little bit more about how doing these races and doing the triathlon has kind of just changed his perspective on just something as simple as drinking. And it's not that he had an issue with it, as far as a viewer and as a person that follows along on his Instagram, I don't think it's something that he had an issue with, but it just changed his perspective. Like, it's, you know, when you are physically trying to stay active every single day, it's like subconsciously your priorities change. And that's why I think a lot of people always ask me, like, how are you able to go to work, like after work, go to the gym and work out, and like how are you able to like not eat certain things or not drink as much? It's like, it honestly, it's not even, it's a choice in the beginning, and it can be a very difficult choice in the beginning for a lot of people, but after a certain point in time, it stops becoming a choice. And I guess the more common thing for people to relate it to is it becomes a lifestyle. I don't think it becomes a lifestyle. I think it just becomes a part of your subconscious. You start to realize your body changing in the way, like if you start eating healthy and start cutting out junk food, you just start to notice your body functioning differently. You start to realize, hey, I'm not as tired anymore if I don't eat this, or I feel better if I don't eat this and then run 5K, or I feel better after my 5K run if I do this, this, and this, or if I eat this, or drink this, or I don't drink this, or I don't eat this. It just becomes a part of your normal routine. It doesn't necessarily become a lifestyle. I think that's something people just say to kind of make themselves feel better through the frustrating part. Once you get past that frustrating part and that part of where it is a struggle and it just becomes like kind of your everyday and you don't think about it, I think it becomes kind of like a subconscious, like, oh, this is just like, oh, I'm not going to eat this because A, it doesn't feel good, it doesn't make me feel good, and B, it's just not great for my body. It's not something you think about. It's just like you just begin to choose, you know, right from wrong, I guess, if you want to look at it that way. So I'm going to be vlogging a little bit. I don't know, this has been a very random, rambling vlog. I thought about making this video last night, and I felt like I had so much, like, it was going to be a lot more eloquent than this, and my brain is fried because I'm so tired from work, and just tired overall from this week, and I'm, like, stressing out about what I need to get done, and this weekend is going to be fun. I always worry. Last year, I feel like at the end of last year, I really was stressed about these races more than I was just enjoying them. So this weekend's really about just having fun and getting these races done and coming home with some medals. And I'm really excited to get those medals and, you know, have them in my hand and be able to bring them home. And I really want to just kind of show you guys the journey and the process that I take to get through these runs, and we'll see how it goes. Maybe it's going to be a whole lot of crying, maybe it's going to be a whole lot of laughter, I don't know, we're going to see. And I would love it if you guys came along with this journey with me. I will probably pick up at some point tomorrow afternoon, the drive there, and then once we get there and afterwards, I'm going to try to. I'm not promising anything, but yeah, it's definitely going to be an interesting weekend, and I'm excited. I'm excited to see some friends possibly, and make new friends, and then see what else happens. I just hope the weather kind of keeps its shit together too. But as the sun is setting and it is just getting darker and darker in this room, I need to take a shower, go grocery shopping, and pack. So I will see you guys tomorrow. If you guys have any questions for me, if you guys are interested at all as far as like anything Spartan related or fitness related, if you guys want to ask me any questions, feel free to ask me. I've always been an open book, and I'm pretty much have talked about a lot of Spartan stuff in previous videos, so if you guys want to check those videos out, you know, you can scroll back a little bit through my channel. But yeah, this is going to be an interesting challenge. This is something I've never done before. Last summer, I took all summer to get my trifecta. I also went to so many different places last year, where this year I remember the property and I kind of know what to expect on some level, but I don't know what to expect because this is going to be a back-to-back thing that I'm doing, so it'll be interesting to see how well I can keep up. It's not going to be pretty, that's for sure. But I really am excited because I know I will do well, but I'm not going to do amazing, probably. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But yeah, I will see you guys tomorrow afternoon, most likely. So, see you then.